you ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Gabby, you do a roll call, please?
You got it. King.
Present.
Hugh.
Present.
McDonald.
Here.
Delory.
Here.
Destin.
Here.
Birdbauer.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Saban.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right, I see Mitzi's here to open us up.
All right, let's pray. God, thank you for the blessings of abundance and freedom that we get to enjoy here. And thank you that we have the freedom and blessing of self-governance. As the men and women of this council come together with the city officials to take care of business, would you help them discern the best options, give them wisdom to make the best decisions, and keep them unified in their objectives? We pray for our city and its people, our elected officials, our first responders, our schools and teachers, and the businesses of Lockport. Please keep us strong and help us love each other the way you love us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mitzi. All right, friends, everybody survived the storm, I see. Like Ben was mentioning, we could send out the kind of the branch truck maybe on Monday in case there's any, gives everybody the weekend to clean things up. So I thought that was a fine idea, Ben.
We can put a little Facebook post out there.
Yeah. Okay. So any liaison reports? What's going on?
I got one.
We got Pat.
I have a finance report from Miss Lisa. The auditors are starting their final field work on Monday, the 24th. This is expected to last for 2 weeks. The final report will be presented to the council in June. And then Lisa also sent out her finance report, looked it over, everything looks fantastic. I had a couple questions, got answers, and looking good. So thank you, Lisa, for your hard work.
I don't know. Anybody else got anything?
I have a couple things. First, starting out with heritage and architecture. We had a meeting last night. As always, it's always very interesting to go there. I enjoy it. It's an hour and a half well spent. The new building that's going up at 923, 929 South State Street, the name is going to be the Alton, and I think you might know that. It's going to be the Alton, and we were discussing the signage, and it was interesting because on the backside, H&A, and correct me if I'm wrong, on the backside, there's no real ordinance for any kind of signage, anything. We've never done that before, so they're going to have to get some kind of ordinance going. But we went ahead, or they went ahead and approved the signage on the back. It'll say the Alton, and it'll be in halo lighting, which I don't want to explain it. It's in my head, though, if you want to ask me later. It's halo lighting, and it'll say the Alton on the back, and then in the front, it'll be edge lighting, and that'll be on the front and say the Alton. And then also, the Give Back is going to have a sign there. And I believe that's also going to be edge lighting, is that right?
Just the one on the awning. Just the one on the awning, not the projecting sign.
Okay, okay. And that's it. Did you want to add to that? Okay. Then the other things are, save the date. The 26th of April, we're having our first recycling fair. Bloom Lockport's going to be there, the Urban Canopy, and Waste Management, with Waste and LTHS High School. They will be collecting plastic bags, and again, they're trying to get 1,000 pounds of plastic bags. All you have to do is bring plastic bags there. They'll go ahead and weigh them out, and with the use of the plastic bags, they will create a bench out of that Trex stuff. So, And the next thing is April 22nd, which is before the 26th, which is Earth Day. It will be our second meeting, which I'm very excited about. We're having the LTHS ag students there. They're going to be selling some plants and kits. So if you want to go native, they're going to go ahead and have a kit set up for you so you can just get started. Also, the Conservation Foundation is having a kickoff, and what that involves is if you register with them, they will go ahead and actually take a look at your yard and say, okay, this could go really good here, this could go here. So, and this is all for free. The plant sale obviously is not, but it'll be at low cost, I'm sure. And then Karen Tim is going to talk about what it means to be a successful gardener. So last time, we had quite a few people, and it was very cold. I expect this time to be just as filled. If you'd like to register for the event, please contact me at cbergbauer@lockport.org.
Christina, when did you say the plant, is it the 22nd is the plant sale, or is that a different date?
No, the 22nd. We're doing a lot.
All on the 22nd?
Yeah, it's
okay.
like a fun-filled evening. It starts at 7 p.m. at the library.
At the library, okay. That's what I was going to ask. 7 p.m. at the library, okay.
Next slide.
There's that one.
Okay, so this is the Route 66 garden. So on the left-hand side is if you enter the garden, go towards the back, they have these stepping stones. And you follow these stepping stones, and this is going to be the theater. So what the guys from Public Works are doing, and they did an amazing job. They went ahead and put the stones down, and they have to like balance them so they're seats. So when the project's done, it'll be, I believe, 6 seats and 6 seats around the theater, and then we're going to have gravel in there at the bottom of it, and have it not like that, have it a little bit neater, and this will be kind of our educational portion of it. So that's the start.
Nice.
Coming along.
Yeah,
Looking forward to see what it looks like when it starts coming in the spring.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. Hi, anybody else? All good? All right, we'll jump in on it then. So, City Council, we're looking for a motion to have a consent agenda tonight. All right, Joanne, and did I hear Jonathan? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so tonight we're looking for approval for the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes from March 5th, our City Council meeting minutes from March 5th, construction project costs for site improvements, bike path accommodations, and wayfinding signage at the 2nd Street Heritage Village. There's the payroll period ending March 2nd. We've got Resolution 25024, which is the plans for the daycare facility behind in the Rose Lockport Center. We've got Well 6 and Well 13 filter treatment plant rehabilitation, Resolution 25021. And then there's a task order for Division Street Phase 3 construction with Thomas Engineering. That's Resolution 25025 and 25023. So we're looking for a motion to approve.
Motion.
All right, we got Pat and Renee, thanks. Okay, if we can do a roll call, please.
You got it. King.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Delogley.
Yes.
Destin.
Yes.
Birdbauer.
Yes.
Ferguson.
Yes.
Saban. Yes. Motion passes.
All right, looking for a motion to approve our bills through March 11th.
Motion.
Pat,
Second.
Christina. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? Then we'll do a roll call.
You got it. King.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Delogley.
I abstain. The city of Lockport is paying my employer for some water material.
Destin.
Yes.
Birdbauer.
Yes.
Ferguson.
Yes.
Saban. Yes. Motion passes.
All right, next we're looking for a motion to approve CA1, which is the 2025 mechanical renovations to City Hall project. Ben, you want to talk a little bit about that?
No, don't have to. I make the motion.
Oh, sorry, yeah, thanks.
Okay,
We
now,
are,
sir.
Darren?
Thank you. Yes, this would be approving Resolution 25016. This would be awarding the 2025 mechanical renovations project for City Hall, Friedler Construction Company, in the amount of $2,498,800. We did add some additional monies in there for some potential lighting projects and some miscellaneous renovations. So we talked about this at the budget discussions back in 2025. We held the bid opening on February 28th of this year. We actually had 7 bidders in attendance. We were really pleased with that. The apparent low bidder was Friedler Construction. I know Ron from TRIA is here, who can come up and answer any questions. He went through all the bids and had a call with the company to make sure that everybody understood exactly the expectations, and we're pleased with that. The good news is, we didn't know what the cost of this was going to be, and we budgeted $3.2 million this year, and we're trying to have substantial completion by the end of November. The budget savings, there's a couple ideas. Obviously, we need to maintain some of that to hold on to, because we're not sure, once we open up some of the walls in here, there might be some additional remediation and some costs. One of the ideas being bounced around is that City Hall is also an EMA center, a warming and cooling center, and days like today, when you see the sky turn green, you know, if we ever have a major incident with a tornado, it would be good to have City Hall operational support all the operations with the operations center at Public Works and the Police Department. Both those facilities have fully functional backup generators. City Hall does not. So this has been on our capital kind of wish list every once in a while, but we just never got it done. But with these savings, we could approach that at the end of the year, but we want to make sure we get through most of this HVAC work before we bring that request back to you. And then the additional $75,000 that I put into the resolution was to finish some of the City Hall lighting. We still have some, even this room would be redone with lighting. And so that's what I included in there for that. So again, Ron, do you want to say anything that I missed at all? But we're really seeking to move forward. This will impact not only this room, but City Hall operations this summer from about August through November. We'll probably move our council meetings around to the high school or the police community room or something like that, because we won't be able to be in here. It'll be 2-phase, the original building and then what we call this building, the addition. And so we should have it all wrapped up by the end of the year, but we are going to need to move some operations around. We need to maintain a water billing location, Lance's group having permits. So right now, we're thinking about setting up some offices in the gym while they work on phase 1, and then when that's done, they can switch back to their offices, and then we can do the gym in this room in the second half of the phases. But we're going to, the three of us, Lisa, Lance, and I are going to be working on that in the next month or so, and we'll come out with our plan, because we still have to provide services here. So, Ron, anything about the project?
Well, I could just wanted to add real quick. So the one thing we do still need to do is have Pecron Consulting bid out the asbestos abatement portion of it, because there's a window in the gym and some pipe wrap we know of. We're assuming we're going to find some more pipe wrap insulation that'll need to be abated once the demolition is done. But we've scheduled out the project that the demolition will be done. Then there's time for abatement. Then they come back and work on the mechanical work in each phase. So that there's sufficient enough time to be able to identify any additional abatement that needs to be done and get it taken care of while we're doing it. So that's sort of built into it. As far as that, we basically check references on both the 2 low bidders. We had them have their mechanical contractor, and they both are using the same mechanical contractor, hence the fact that their bid is very similar to each other. We went through with our mechanical engineer, went through the equipment that they're using, went through the entire scope of the project. I know I've worked before with the current owner of Friedler when he was part of another general contracting company. We've worked with them several times over the years, so I do feel comfortable with the fact that they're a responsible bidder. We didn't find any reason that we could find to reject their bid.
All right, any questions?
The heat plant that they're going to put in here, was that the same type of unit across all the bidders?
Yes. Well, we specify different manufacturers, but all the actual type of system and units are all the same.
Okay. All right. Is that a chiller in the summer?
No, the chiller's going away, so there will be There will be a rooftop unit for the gymnasium. And then for the rest, for the offices and boardroom, everywhere else other than the gym, there's going to be a DOAS unit on the roof, which is an outside air heating unit. And then there's going to be VRF units, which are electric heating and cooling units that will go into each room. And some of them are in the ceiling, some of them are on the wall. They're in different places depending on the wall, or depending on the room and the situation and how the space is used and configured and whatnot. So that's essentially the two main systems that will be going into place. The DOAS unit will actually be on the roof above here. The rooftop unit for the gym, I will be going where the chiller is currently. So we'll be reusing that space for the rooftop unit for the gym.
It's an all-electric system?
So the rooftop unit for the gym, that unit uses predominantly gas, but the DOAS system, the way it's set up is that it uses an electric heat pump for most of its heating, and then in the coldest of cold days, there is gas for it so that it is able to keep up with a building this size and the heating load that would be required on, -3 days or the really cold days in the winter, because the electric wouldn't be able to keep up as well. So the gas will then pick up when the electric is no longer able to handle it. And to go to a full electric system, the current building's electrical infrastructure wouldn't have been able to support both a fully electric DOAS and an electric rooftop unit. So we went we included as much electrical as we could without having to redo the entire building's electrical system.
Great.
Yeah, I noticed in the original proposal, there was some concern about some of the breaker panels not being able to support the loads, so those you addressed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when we looked into this, when we designed the system, we did that, we looked at the system with that in mind. We also, and I don't remember if we talked about it in the very beginning, initially we had the project broken into 3 phases. We were gonna split the office from north and south, or east and west, one side and another. When we started into the design of it, we quickly realized that there wasn't enough electrical supply in the building to have the chiller running and the phase 1 units running simultaneously, so that during phase 2, we wouldn't have been able to have heating or cooling in the building anywhere during phase 2. So rather than do that, we broke the building into 2 phases, which allows us to do one side of the building, get that all up and running, and then we can take the chiller offline when we do the gym. And that way that we continue to have enough power. So like Ben said, to support the staff or the programs that you have to have running in the building while we're in construction can work in the gym in phase 1 and then can switch over in phase 2. When phase 1 is complete, the entire mechanical system should be operational for the phase 1 space.
Thank you.
The boiler goes away, and that would potentially be the inside location where you could put the natural gas generator someday if it works out. So we won't lose any footprint outside.
All right, anything else? All right, nothing else, then we'll do a roll call, please.
You got it. King?
Yes.
Pugh?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes?
Deloglia?
Yes.
Deskin?
Yes.
Birdbauer?
Yes.
Bartleson?
Yes.
Saban? Yes. Motion passes.
All right, looking for a motion to approve Resolution 25033, which is the access easement agreement with Lockport and AC Power. So we're looking for a motion.
Second.
JR and, did I hear?
Yeah, second,
Is that
yeah.
weird?
My voice, second.
It's very emotional, AC Power. I understand. All right. Tom, did you want to talk about it?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, in August of '24, when the City Council approved the solar lease agreement with AC Power, we committed to granting an access easement in the future. The terms and conditions weren't known then, they are now, and the staff has negotiated with the AC Power team to finalize the document. What's before you is something we had finalized a few days ago. We did receive a request this afternoon from AC Power to make 3 minor modifications, and I think what happened was AC Power has to work with its lender on every document that it submits to the city of Lockport, and I think the lender's attorney made some changes probably this morning, and we heard about it right around noon. Those changes are, and I'll run through them very quickly. First page, recitals number 4, you'll see a hard copy on the dais, and you'll see that there's blue underlined language that's been added to the agreement. It's very lender-like language where we're committing to providing access on city-owned property so they can get to their solar farm. And then the lender added, for any purposes reasonably necessary to facilitate the grantee in this case is AC Power, the development, construction, operation, and maintenance of the project on the leased property. It's kind of a belt and suspenders way of saying that we agree to let them on the property to do what they would like to do for constructing and maintaining their solar farm. Page 2, the lender's attorney asked to add what is in the middle of the page, section 2C, underlined in blue, and that also allows the lender to step in if by some chance AC Power didn't live up to obligations and we wanted to terminate. We have an obligation to provide written notice to AC Power. They have 30 days to fix whatever problem we are raising with them, and if by some chance AC Power does not remedy the defect or default, the lender now has the authority to step in and remedy it. Obviously, the lender is trying to protect its money that it has in the project. You'll see that frequently in commercial-type arrangements where the lender wants to make sure that its investment in the property is protected. So certainly something that we're not anticipating happening. We still have full faith in AC Power being able to fulfill its obligations under the original agreement, but it's something the lender has asked to have that additional provision. And then there's a third change on the top of page 5. It's a deletion of the last sentence, and that was a sentence that was added by AC Power originally, but it was deleted because it called for any tax investors having an interest in the property, that if there was an assignment of this contract to a tax investor, the city would not object to that. Obviously, we have to know who it is and go through due diligence to make sure the tax investor is responsible, but apparently the lender does not want the tax investor to be in that position. So certainly it's more of an internal issue between AC Power and its lender. We're fine with deleting that sentence. That really didn't benefit us. It benefited AC Power originally. So with those three changes, we're recommending approval. We did go through quite a review with Brian and his staff and Lance about making sure that our responsibility for maintenance is limited to the paved roads. The snow plowing part of it is limited to the paved roads. Once they get beyond what are paved roads in the park, that'll be the responsibility of AC Power. Any new roads they build on the leased land, that'll be their responsibility to maintain, snow plow, fix, repair, whatever may need to be done. So that's really the agreement in a nutshell. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
So I know you guys, they pulled this line out, but it just made me think of a question. So when you say a tax investor, you're talking like sometimes when a property goes south, they're not paying their taxes, somebody comes in and buys the taxes.
Actually, I think it's more, not that situation, but I think because it's solar and the federal government, at least formally, it was incentivizing solar projects, I think there are tax investors in that. In other words, where they're getting tax credits for investing in solar. And I'm not the expert in that particular field, but I believe that's what it is. So there was a provision that AC Power wanted to add to it that would allow them to assign their interest in the contract to a tax investor, but I think the lender said no to that, so, which is certainly fine with us, because that still puts us in a better position than we were in under the original language. So, but other than that, everything else is a standard easement agreement that you've seen many times where the obligation is to keep the road open. It's not exclusive, so as we develop the park further, we can have other tenants or buyers that may be using the public roads be able to use the same roadways. So, but it's just, it gives them a chance to get back and forth on the city road to get to their property.
All right. Questions? Then we'll do a roll call, please. Thanks, Tom.
Got it. King.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Delogley.
Yes.
Jessica.
Yes.
Birdbauer.
Yes.
Burleson.
Yes.
Staker. Yes. Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, last we have a motion to approve the gravity belt thickener control panel, not to exceed 45,000, it's resolution 25027. Brian, you want to lay this on us?
I'll make that motion.
Thanks. jumping ahead, Will.
We
Thanks for saving me,
approve,
man.
then we can discuss
Yes,
something.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this one is.
It was Darren and JR. Yep. JR and Darren.
So this project is basically the existing wastewater treatment plant at Division's, the south plant gravity belt thickener control panel is starting to fail. So what we're doing is we're going to be replacing it. We'll reuse the existing cabinet. We'll gut out everything on the electrical components on the inside, and currently on the outside, it's all analog, so it's all push buttons and everything. So this will end up having a SCADA screen and allow us to actually adapt it to the SCADA system. So as we upgrade the north plant, tear that down and do their expansion, this will allow us to control some of that features and stuff from SCADA and be able to control it offline and from, outside the actual facility itself, than go in there and turning it on by a button. So that's all.
So this is equipment that's going to move to the new facility? Or
This is staying where it's at.
staying
The
where it's
south
at,
plant
but it's going to
stays.
continue to be used?
It'll still be used, yeah, so there's no waste here. It was done in 2008. There was another one of these, same control panels that was replaced as part of the 2008 improvement. It has already failed about 3 or 4 years ago, so this one made it a little bit farther, but Jason knew it was going, so he kept putting it in his maintenance budget for the plant, and it finally is starting to act up enough where it's time to do it, so.
All right, any other questions? All right, then we'll do a roll call, please.
King.
Yes.
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 Deskin.
Yes.
Birdbauer.
Yes.
Burleson.
Yes.
Saban. Yes. Motion passes.
All right, any new busyness? All right, then we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Just I wanted to mention too, Mayor, we do have a request for executive session tonight after the committee of the whole meeting for a 2C1 for appointments and employment for specific employees, and also for 2C11 for pending litigation.
Right on, very good. Okay, so a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Second.
Renee, JR, all in favor?
Aye.
King.
Present.
Present.
McDonald.
Here.
Golowski.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Birdbauer.
Here.
Burleson.
Here.
Saban. We have a quorum.
All right, first up is CA1, amendment to the existing license agreement with IDNR for the Boatyard Playground.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Yes, this would be, basically, we have an existing license agreement with the DNR for all the lands along the canal. And when we started looking at the playground expansion with the grant, we realized we need a little bit more real estate to make that all fit. In having approaching the DNR, we also wanted to discuss with them the potential for a future pedestrian bridge in that same area, so we kind of continued to expand the request. And the area you see in red will be, the legal description will be added to the existing lease. And then this will allow the playground to be completed in the area that we're planning. And I believe there's some aerials in your packet of what those will look like. And then at some point in the future, we would be able to connect the pedestrian bridge to Canal Street. Once we know what's going to happen over there in the future, we can figure that all out. So this would be for basically approving the extension.
Sorry. Yep. Gotta have a happy ringtone.
Yeah, sounds like music at the park, playgrounds and unicorns.
So this would be approving Resolution 25032, which will authorize the expansion of the license agreement with the DNR. And the consent direction is fine.
I have one comment.
Yeah, that's not my phone.
I was looking at the playground, and I had a flashback to my youth where you actually had a teeter-totter, which you don't see many of those around anymore, which surprises me. But you really need to get one of those things that just spin around real fast.
Oh, yeah.
And that would really, toughen up the kids and, exactly, yeah, so. Yeah, I know, yeah, it's sad, but, I mean, we grew up scuffed knees, and whatnot, but, yeah, that looks really nice. I think the the Heritage Village will be real happy to have that amended or appended to them, so nice job.
All right. Are we good with the consent then?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ben. All right, Lisa, what do you got? Transfer of volume cap.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is an item I come to you guys for every single year, and the city has been a part of this program since 2001. It's participating with the Illinois Assist program, which offers mortgage assistance to low-income home buyers as mortgage credits to lower their interest rate. So what we have to do is pass ordinance 25001, which transfers our allocation of the private activity volume cap from the state to support the issuance of these certificates. The city has no financial, no administrative, no legal obligation at all. All we do is pass this ordinance, and then it takes it from there. So this, I just added a couple of things that we put in here every year that kind of talks about the program a little bit more, just so it's out there in the packet in case any residents take a look at our council agenda. These are all the participating.
Can we go back to the first slide?
The first slide?
Yeah. That one, yeah. Thanks.
Mhm. So Christina had me take a look today. She was curious how many people have been approved for these credits over the last 5 years. So in 2024, there was nobody. But when I do a 5-year look back, there was actually 46 people in the city limits of Lockport that have qualified for these credits. So, a little disappointing that last year there were none, but the company that oversees this is going to try and do a little bit of push, and then we're also going to have Brittany do a social media push to let our residents know that this program is out there, and they should talk to their lenders to try and find one that would actually help with this program. So they didn't have anybody that was a lender that was promoting it here in Lockport, but in the last year, but certainly there has been over the last few years.
Listen, I actually have had two buyers that fell within that range of income, and it's worked out very well because it helps them bring down the interest rate, and they can make a nice little payment instead of a large one.
Yeah. So here's a list of other municipalities that belong, so you'll see some of our neighbors are on here as well, or municipalities that are close to us. So, yeah, looking for approval of ordinance 25-001.
Well, you know my motto, if it's good enough for Wood River, it's good enough for us.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
Well, are we,
No, just.
we're just putting this on
Agenda.
Put it on a consent.
Yes. Okay. That's great.
So if we're good with that, we'll put it on consent.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then PW1, what do you got, Brian?
Yes, thank you, Mayor and City Council. This summer, Homer Township is going to be resurfacing 163rd Street from John Lane Crossing, which is kind of the entrance to the UPS and those industrial buildings there, and all the way to Cedar Road. So they gave us a call and kind of approached us to see if we have a couple sections of the roadway that is kind of tied in with, and I got a slide actually if.
Saddle Bend.
So we have a couple sections of roadway along this section of 163rd Street that is actually owned by us. It's basically tied in with the Silo Bend. So instead of having a piecemeal pavement patch or roadway surface, they're going to go ahead and go straight through and resurface those. We're going to leave the right turn lanes. Those are only about 6 to 7 years old, I think, when Silo Bend did them, but the through lanes will be done. So we'll have basically a cohesive road from Cedar all the way to John Lane, and then next year, the city will be going from basically John Lane crossing to the intersection of Gauger. We'll skip Gauger and basically go all the way down to Farrell doing that section. So all of 163rd and 7th Street, as it turns to 7th Street as you go west, will be resurfaced. So the total cost for this would be around $30,000 with our portion of the cost. So we're just looking to have a resolution 25-030, authorizing the approval of the IGA between the City of Lockport and Homer Township Highway District for reimbursement of the resurfacing costs of the portion of 163rd that is within the city limits. So
Just two comments, Mayor. One, the Will County is actually part of the lead on this, and they're doing the engineering, and so they'll be doing a nice job. We appreciate that. And two, I have to give Alderman Deskin credit, because the day that there was any spray paint on the asphalt out there, he called me, because he's always got a watch on Homer Township. He wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah, keep an eye on it.
Doesn't miss a thing.
And have you talked to the incoming road commissioner out there yet?
I have.
Yes.
Ben has reached out.
You know, he doesn't have a PE, so these costs may go up.
No comment.
And Darren didn't show up.
Different one.
All right, friends. You guys, so we're all good? We good with the consent on this?
Sure.
All right, thanks, everyone. Okay, there's a fancy way of going into executive session where we don't have to come back again, but I forget how that's worded. I need a wizard like Tom Thanis.
Mr. Mayor, let me see if I can do this then. As Ben mentioned, we have a request to go into executive session to discuss pending or imminent or probable litigation, and the other reason for going into executive session is to discuss the appointment or employment of a specific employee of the city. We are recommending that the city council go in for discussion purposes only, and that there would be no final action taken afterwards, so there would not be a need for us to return to open session to take final action. So our recommendation is to have a vote on going into executive session for those two reasons, after which we will adjourn and be, at that point, the meeting would be terminated without having to come back in for formal adjournment.
Okay, so I need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion, go into executive session, according to Tom's rules.
Second?
Well said, yes. A second by Pat. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Good job, Tom.